So I was driving back to Richmond from Pennsylvania last night, and I got a text from my buddy. And when the first one rolled in, I thought, what everyone thinks when they get a text from the friend, right? Like, oh, he probably wants to bullshit about something. And then I got a second one from him, and I said, oh, no. And then I got a third, and I said, something is definitely wrong, like something happened. And I opened it up, and I was absolutely right. The first text said, what the fuck? Is this an April Fool's joke thing with Tony? Second message, nope, Tony out, Holloway in. Third message, oh, God, I don't know. So I'm reading all this, and I'm like, okay, is this something that just, like, spread online? Because someone said something, you know what I mean? Like, did Brennan Schaub or something, like, try to pull some April Fool's joke on people and it went viral, right? And you end up seeing an announcement by Dana White, I mean, pretty shortly after, that he is going to be replacing Tony Ferguson with Max Holloway to fight Khabib. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, okay, this is nowhere near as bad. And the more I thought about it, the more excited I got about it, because Max Holloway is 26 years old and has been on an absolute tear through the featherweight division. He's won 12 fights in a row. He's got 9 knockouts on his resume, like 2 submissions. He's an animal, and he hasn't even come into his prime yet. This guy's probably going to come into his prime in the next 2 or 3 years. I think between like the ages of 28 and 30, we're going to see the best Max Holloway we've ever seen. This kid is young, and he's got the experience already, and he's been fighting since he was like 20 years old. I mean, he is an animal. And I think the first thing when you think about Holloway versus Khabib, and you think about the fight like happening this Saturday, you think, oh God, it's kind of short notice for Max. But with how quickly they announced that Holloway was going to be stepping in to fight Khabib, it makes me think that maybe Dana and the UFC brass were kind of like, all right, there's an excellent chance that this fight falls apart. It's already happened like 4 times. Like, we don't know who it's going to be. We need a guy who's willing to step in there in case things go bad. And I bet they contacted Holloway and were like, hey, you're going to be the guy that we call first if something goes wrong. And if you're Holloway, you're like, there's a good chance that something goes wrong. So he probably started preparing. That's my guess. I'm taking a stab in the dark at that, you know what I mean? Like, I'm doing a lot of assuming. But it just seems suspicious with how... The thing about that, though, is if you're Max, if that really did happen, and again, I'm just speculating. Like, I could just be making shit up right now. But it just seems that way, right? And if you're Max... you didn't know who to prepare for because you didn't know who was going to be out because you got a 50-50 shot, right? And I think that, honest to God, I believe this, I think he got the easier of the 2 guys to fight. Not in the sense that one's easier to fight than the other necessarily, but you only have to prepare for Khabib's knocked people out, but you know what he's going to do. He's going to put your back up against the fence. He's going to take you down. He's going to maul you. He's going to try to maul you for all 5 rounds or until you quit. And if you're Max, you know that that's what he's going to do. And you're pretty confident in your hands, right? Like, you've been able to dot up a lot of people so far at 145. Like, you can probably outstrike Khabib, you're thinking in your head. But you know what he's going to do. Tony is so unpredictable, and he's coming from these weird angles and throwing weird stuff up if you get him on the ground, like off his back. He's an incredibly hard guy to prepare for. And it's also going to be interesting to see this thing, like, from Khabib's perspective, too, because, like, I mean, obviously he's had a camp and everything behind him, but Max is a whole new fighter because Max, I guess you could call Max unorthodox, but he's nowhere near as weird as Tony. And, I mean, like, maybe Khabib's plan stays the same through both fights, right? Like, get this guy to the ground, eliminate the weird shit that he's going to do, and, you know what I mean? Like I said, Khabib's the kind of guy who just mauls you until you quit or until, I mean, he just grinds out a nasty decision and you wish you never would have got in there with him. He's an animal. But Max Holloway, and like I just said, this is the thing too, where the thing about watching, like when you watch Khabib fight, he relies so much on forward pressure. Like, he needs you back against the cage. And I'm not saying that that's an easy thing to prepare for, but I think that, I don't want to say it's the only thing you have to prepare for either, but if you're Max, I just think you have less to worry about if you're fighting Khabib. Not as far as, like, if he gets you on the ground, you're in a world of danger. And you're in a world of danger at any point in the fight. Like, he's proven that throughout his unbeaten career. He's 25-0. But if you can avoid that one thing, you might be able to implement a game plan that gets you the win. And Max is a guy who, he might take a little bit to get his timing down, but when he does, he puts a pace on you that you just can't keep up with. And you can't figure him out. Like, he's very hard to get a read on, and he's throwing punches from, like, untraditional times, right? Like, I don't know. He's a very strange guy to try to figure out, and you can see people get confused. The longer you fight Max, the more confused people seem to get. It's like they might look good in the first round, and they might be hitting him with some stuff, but it's like he's just baiting you into like showing you everything that he needs to know, and then when he starts putting it on, there's just nothing you can do about it. And I mean, I think Max is like part of like I just said, part of what Khabib does so well is he puts pressure on people. He puts you up against the fence, and I think Max is not going to be accepting of that pressure, especially if he can survive the first round. And if he gets a feel for what Khabib's like, he's going to be like, okay, like I can get like the second round, I can come out swinging. But on the flip side of that, if Khabib takes you down in the first round and he starts mauling you, like a lot of guys, and I don't think Holloway's going to be this type of guy, but you've seen it before. Like you saw it with Barboza, kind of, right? When Khabib took him down, there was just this look of, oh my God, I've never felt anything like that in my entire life. You know what I mean? Like Barboza trains with guys like Frankie Edgar. And what Khabib did to him, you could just see like, this is a whole new animal that I'm dealing with. Like, this is fucking crazy. Like, this is the highest level grappling that I've ever felt or seen. You can see it in his face. And is Holloway going to be able to handle that if he does get taken down? Because if he can handle it, and I think Holloway has the mentality to handle a situation like that, if he can take it and get back out in the second round, I really like Max's chances to win the fight, because I think he's going to have a ton of confidence. You know what I mean? I think he's going to do a lot of feeling out, but as the rounds wear on, I think the fight goes from being in Khabib's favor to Holloway's. I don't know. That's just what I believe. I think that like Max is the kind of guy who you can't hurt his confidence by dominating him for a round. I really don't think that if Khabib even takes him down, and I think that like Max's attitude towards the fight, even being in extreme danger and stuff like that, and maybe just barely surviving, is that it's going to give Max confidence, and it's going to eat away at Khabib like, oh my God, this is like nothing I've ever seen before. And I think you're going to see a real mental war in this fight more than anything. Like, whose will is going to break first? Because you've got two guys so far who haven't shown you that they're just going to give up. You know what I mean? I mean, the last time Max lost a fight was in 2013. It was to Conor. He was a kid. I mean, Jesus, that was, 5 years ago? He's only 26. He was 21 years old. Oh, I don't know. This is a hell of a fight, and I'm going to make a bold prediction here. I really like Holloway in the fourth round, the third or fourth round by knockout. I think that when Holloway's, like I said, it might not be right away. What I think you'll see Holloway doing right away is when Khabib's pressuring him, you're going to see Holloway land some punches and start making him pay for that pressure and making him think twice about going in. And maybe Khabib will get crazy and get like a takedown in the first. But I really think that when he does that, Max will be able to survive, and then he'll feel confident that he survived, and he's kind of got a read on what Khabib can do. Like, I think he's going to frustrate Khabib a little bit, and then Khabib's going to get crazy and close the distance, and Khabib's going to land a takedown. Because he's going to be aggressive, and it might throw Max off a little bit or whatever, or like... But once Max survives on the ground, Khabib's going to realize, like, oh, wait. I'm kind of confused on the feet, so I'm going in for these, like, rush takedowns, really. I'm shooting too soon. And that's where you're going to see Max start picking up confidence. Like, oh, okay, I know when you're going to shoot now, you're going to get crazy. I'm just going to be a little cleaner. I'm going to stay a little bit further away from you, and I'm going to hit you on your way in, then I'm going to move out. And I'm not going to get my back pushed up against the fence anymore. Like, if I'm there, I'm immediately moving back out to the center of the octagon. Like, I'm going to keep you working and coming to me. And as you're coming to me, I'm just going to keep picking you apart. And I think it's going to take a few rounds. And I really think in the third round, in the second half of the third round, you're going to really start to see Holloway take over if it goes that far. And then maybe put him away. And then in the fourth, I just think this is going to be a battle of will and a battle of mentality. And I just have a feeling that Holloway can win it. I don't know why. Like, I'm going to extreme detail right here, right? Like, I'm doing a lot of guesswork to try to guess the outcome of a fight like round by round like that is insane. Like, obviously, it's probably not going to go that way. I just think that Holloway you might be like, oh God, I don't know if he's going to win in the first round, but if he can get out of that first round, I think he gains confidence. And I think when he gets his confidence and he starts landing, he's just like I said, he's a will breaker, man. You saw it in Aldo's face when he beat him. You've seen it in other guys that he's beaten. Like, he's so good at, and it's not even, like, his pressure doesn't even have to be coming straight forward on you. Like I said, like, I think he's going to win a lot of this fight, tagging Khabib while backing up and using good footwork and getting back to the center if he starts getting pushed up against the cage. Like, it's interesting, right? Because he's not really the one applying the pressure, but he's going to be the one setting the pace. Because now you're coming into him, like you're coming into his world, and if he's hitting you and you're not able to land your takedowns, you're getting frustrated, and he's the one, like, now you're chasing him. You know what I mean? He's just watching you and he's keeping tabs on you and making you pay for things, but all of a sudden you start chasing Holloway, and you're fighting at his pace now, and that's where he really starts to take over, because he knows he's got you. He's lured you into this trap, and now you're stuck in it, and he's so good at smothering you and killing you when you're in the trap. It's going to be very hard to get out of that trap once you're in it. This is going to be a crazy fight. Like I said, I'm taking Holloway, 3rd or 4th round KO, and I'm very excited. The more I talk about it, the more excited I get. This is going to be a hell of a fight, and I cannot wait for it.